Shalom Aleichem alle Yidden. Welcome all of you. Alle Yidden, die sitzen bei alle Schulteure. Wir können sich ein bisschen ausliftern in the mountains. I once heard from Rav Farkash, Rabbi Xil Farkash, he says, he was once walking with Reb Shlomo Zalman Auerbach in Yerushalayim. And a guy saw Reb Shlomo Zalman, who went over and asked him a shaila. So Reb Shlomo Zalman tells Rabbi Xil Farkash, today's day, by the Yid, by the Engelai, there's a day, if you see a Rav, and you don't ask a shaila, you're over baltashches. So weißt du, wir kommen von Mukam, darf man gehen mal Schier, okay? So I'll discuss a noise, which is, since you're from Ola Torah, so basically you read the Koivets from Ola Torah, which comes out of from Agona Chosed Rav Gerlitzky, and there was over there some kind of, it's a while what's going on, and I just wrote about this, and I want to discuss this noise. I want to go over a little bit the Yisoidos of Hilchos Naira Shabbos, which basically all of you, although you don't know, all of you are mechiv to tzin lecht. Once it's a choiv, it's chazalam aveggestellt, on every yid and every person, once you turn by mitzvah, or basically it's a choiv, a mitzvah shebegifroi. It's only because the mother lights the candles, automatically you're part of it, but basically it's your chiyuv. And there are some times which you're still mechiv at it. So I want to go over this Nikida, but basically the Nikida said, what was the point, what was the pulmas, was a story. A lady basically had two children, two daughters, young daughters, which they light candles, minik Chabad. And she helped the two daughters light candles. Then, Baina Labaina, she got distracted after the children lighted the candles, and she didn't light. Vergessen. Es gibt daran Shabbos, habt sich bums, I forgot to send light. Licht, neither Shabbos. But you have two licht, which is on the table. So the question goes, do you have to add other candle? There's a locha in Shchenorach. The Ramur brings it down. It's based on a maril. What the maril says, the Alter Rebbe brings it down also. A lady which forgot to light candles. Now, mitzad alucha, a person has to light one candle. That's pashas alucha. And that's why the Alter Rebbe writes, if a lady forgot to tzindlecht, and she realizes by nashmoshes that she didn't light candles, she could tell for a goy to light. Why? Because by nashmoshes, Amir al-Akim is a shvus. Shvus the shvus is the klal in halacha, two drabonans. Saying for a goy to make a malacha is a drabonan. By nashmoshes b'chlal is a drabonan. So therefore, shvus the shvus is halacha mamuka mitzvah. You could tell for a goy. Immediately, like him, she was the shis of mitter. The Alter Rebbe said you could tell for the goy she should light a candle. So the Alter Rebbe, but only one candle, because the mitzvah be'etzem the choiv is only one candle. It is only the Ravya, the Rishonim later added on another one al zucher v'shumar or al ner is begematria 250 ner. 2 times ner is 500, and ish v'isha has 500 limbs. A man shot Reish Mem Ches Iverim, a lady has Reish Nim Beis Iverim, together is 500. So später die gesagt, so the Alter Rebbe, okay, but you could only send one lecht, not more than one lecht. Because the mitzvah be'etzim is one lecht. Aber, Chazal haben, the Rishonim are moisig gewesen, a person should send 2 lecht. Fine. So yes, the Alter Rebbe brings down the Ramur, which brings down the Maril, a person which forgot to light candles, she has to add on another lech. That means from now on, she has to light 3 candles. Why is it? It's do 2 be'iram. The time which the Alter Rebbe brings down is, in order she should always remember to light candles. You know, when she sends 3 candles and not 2, it bothers her. So always remembers, why do I sin 3? Because I once forgot. She's never forget again. So that's how the Shabbos, the Alter Rebbe brings this Pshat Mung Avrum, the Aly Rabba, the Alter Rebbe. The Bach, the Levish has a different reason. He says, because since sie hat mekalkel gewesen, she didn't light candles, and Bachral, that one we're going to see, one of the reasons why she lights, although it's not her mitzvah, she got the mitzvah because she kofsa nayre shel olam, that means chava, by giving for Adam to eat from Eitz Hadas, oter goyze gewein misa on this world. So therefore, since he kofsa nayre shel olam, she has to basically sind lecht. So the Levish, if she forgot, is kili zot gemacht. She delusion. She has lasaken ifsa. She me masaken, and therefore she has to add on. But Akapurim, the Maril says, a person forgets to light candles, you have to add on. And that's the Zach we say ungenehm in halacha. There's no cholkum. That is the minig Yisrael. That's the halacha. If a person forgets to light candles, if you add on. Now you have another machloikis. What is a person since 10 lecht? That's the minig. She lights 10 lecht. She has children, and the minig is you are moisef for every child a lecht. A mistake, she didn't light 10 lecht. Licht only she lit only 9 licht. What is the halacha now? Does she have to be moisef or not? From one side, she didn't sin the fully what she used to sin. She has a minig to sin 10 nights, and now she only made 9. Do you have to be moisef or not? It's over here we have a machlokas. The Prima Gudam writes, yes, you have to be moisef. Because since she has a minig, she makabel a minig, that she's lighting 10, and you only lit 9, or whatever you want, you have to be moisef. And this is how the Rechaim paskins, the Aly Rabba paskins, a lot of poiskim paskin like that. But Pashas, we don't see in the Alter Rebbe klur with a paskin, but we don't see not like that. The Mishnah Berurah, he comes and says no. Since the sof kol sof, that basically you lighted candles, so therefore you don't have to be moisef alech because as getzin and zwei. So I'm going if such a what to do in this case. Now Lamas the Achroinim, the Kinyan Torah, the Treis Achroinim, right? Not necessarily even before the war, before Krieg. You know, I could put them 100 years ago. They're right already. The meaning is to be moist even in such a case. But Bechlal, when it comes to Shluchim, I have a lot of shilas like that. But this shaila, if a person forgot one, we can Michael's on about some of the Mishnah Berurah, and there's not an Indian to be just to burden. Before we talk about Balachuvas, but I could put them in some of the machloikas. Okay. So again, if she forgot fully, l'chol hadai, she has to be moisef the rest of her life. If she forgot one candle, what she's used to, it's a machloikas, the Abon Shachroinim, the Rechaim with the Aly Rabba, and from the other side, Mishmi Halti, you have to be moisef. Okay. So now, what's going on in our case? In our case, over here on the table, we have two candles. But she didn't send the 2 candles. The mother didn't send it. The daughters sent the 2 candles. Does she have to be moisef or not? Now, according to the Prima Gudam and the Aly Rabba with all the points which say even if it's like 10 candles and you only lit 9, you have to be moisef. So over here is no shaila. Of course you have to be moisef. Because after all, every Shabbos, the mother sins, let's say she sins 2 lech. And the 2 children, so we have usually 4 lech. 4 nights. And now she has only 2. So the Chalal is not a question that she has to be moisef. But the question is, according to the Mishnah Berurah, do you have to be moisef or not? That's the question basically. And some people wanted to say, no, you don't have to be moisef, because after all, there's 2 lech over here. There's 2 lech which was lit l'kuvat Shabbos, so therefore you don't have to be moisef. I hold, on Nizdati, that even according to the Mishnah Berurah, you have to be moisef. because of Kosov, you didn't sin at all. The only person who sinned was the children, and not you. So you totally forgot. It's not the pshat you forgot one lecht what you used to sin. You totally forgot what to sin b'chlal. So therefore, as a shoysim in the mitzvah, you have to be moist. And let me explain the Nekida, and I want to start the ganze Yisod of the Erev Shabbos, which is a Gevali Yisod, which is kedai to take in, because it's like a Yisod which will, this mitzvah is going to begleit you the rest of your life. And once you get the Nekida, the Yisod, the Alter Rebbe has a lot of Chadish and a lot of Nekidas over here in Erev Shabbos, which is fascinating, which is Me'emes Chadishim, which Alter Rebbe is Mechadash with the Kitras Achrens. And once you have it, a lot of questions will fall away, or you'll be able to answer. Because again, almost every Shabbos there is shilas on this kind of question. I'm leaving, my wife is leaving, I'm there, I'm yet, where do I need to sin? Once you get the picture, the Nekida, the Yisod, is a thing which you'll know most shalas you're going to be able to answer yourself if you got the Nekida in how the Alter Rebbe explains the whole Indian Erev Shabbos. Now again, Alter Rebbe has a lot of Chadishim Nerum, which the poets can specify the Alter Rebbe's Chadishim is Mavel al-Arayin. And let's see what's going on. The Alter Rebbe starts like this. Simaraish Samach Gimel. That's Hilchah Shabbos, Simaraish Samach Gimel. So the Alter Rebbe like this. Tikni Chachomim, Shiyiye Lechaludam Ner Doilik B'Shabbos. B'chol Chayder V'Chayder Shoylech. Chazal made a tikkun that you have to light a candle in each room which you are going to go over there Shabbos. Each room which you use for Shabbos, you're going to go in. You have a room which is closed. You're not going to use it Shabbos. That's something else. But if you're going to use it, you have to light a candle Shabbos. Mishim Sholem Bayis. Sholem Bayis. What does it mean Sholem Bayis? Shlo Yikush Ba'ayitz Oy Be'even. When a person has a room which is dark, and you have to go in and take a thing, you could trip. And once your wife goes into your room and she trips, and then the ganze Schule Beis is andere Schule Beis. It's a bit of allegan. So the Alter Rebbe, as Chazal haben weggestellt, every room which you're going to use has to have light. 1. Number 2, sagt der Alter Rebbe weiter, v'chayev kol udam, kisheoichel si'u des Shabbos, la'och leitz la'or haner. Now the Alter Rebbe adds on another thing. A person where he eats see the Shabbos has to be lecht. It has to be lecht. Shezeh b'chal oinik Shabbos. Das b'chal oinik Shabbos. Ve'iker mitzvah sadlukas ner, hi ner she'oichel etzloi. The iker mitzvah of hanayre Shabbos is the lecht which you tzint on the table, not which we have to tzint on the rooms too. But the licht which you tzint on the table, that's iker mitzvah. What does it mean, the iker mitzvah? That means if a person doesn't have money. He has, let's say, in his pocket, he's a blittige uraman. He has $5. He can either buy fish for Shabbos or buy candles for licht. Steigt mich in Urach, Ner Shabbos Udov. Ner Shabbos comes first. So the Alter Rebbe später, that's only Ner Shabbos which is on the table. Ner Shabbos which is B'chol Chayder V'Chayder, you buy first fish. So that's why the Alter Rebbe kvetches, the Iker Mitzvah is on the Ner which you tin on the table. And that's why that when you light in all the other rooms, and then you light on the Shabbos tish, you should first light in those rooms without a bracha, and then you light on the table, and then you make the bracha, because that's the Iker Chiv mitzvah. So we have, again, 2 things. One thing is every room has to have licht. Number 2, has to have licht on the table. And the Alter Rebbe gives 2 reasons. One reason why you need to, everybody has a different reason. Why you have to sit in all the rooms? That is because shlo yikushu, shulam bayis, shlo yikushu. And we the Achronim tell it, that's metam kuvat Shabbos. Kuvat Shabbos is that you should have a menichedige dus. You shouldn't have problems, in shulam bayis. That's metam kuvat Shabbos. Then there's a mitzvah you have to eat. By where you eat the Shabbos Seder, you have to light candles, and that's what the Alter Rebbe is clear. Shezeh b'chal oinik Shabbos. Was the Geder? Because we know, we all learned the Rambam. The Rambam writes 2 places, Hilchas Nayre Shabbos. In the Peirig Hayin Shabbos, in Peirig Lamed. The Chilig is, one place, the Alter Rebbe, the Rambam writes, talks about things which has to do with the Vurim Shebegifoy. in his gif. Dort steht Chitze mit verschiedenen Sachen, wo es steht dort. So is the Nekidza what it is, when you eat, and when you have light, Alter Rebbe explains why do you have to eat over there, because when you eat, there's light, it's more oinig Shabbos. The more light it is, the more geschmack is the Siddur Shabbos. This is hepech from Meminige Oilam, as when you have a fancy chasana, you dim the light. And the Shulchan Aruch steht verkehrt. The more light, then is als geschmack, it's a geschmackere, and that's why it was, as I'm saying, Toysa Shabbos, you make a bracha of Toysa Shabbos. And Toysa's Eure, we're going to see it soon. So we see you have two mitzvahs. Oinig Shabbos, which is when you eat, it should be light, because then there's andere Geschmack von dem ganzen Essen. Then there's another thing which is Kvod Shabbos Shlo Yikush V'Eitz V'Even, and that is all other rooms. Now, if you Sanems the Nikide, it means like this: Naire Shabbos on the table is a mitzvah chiyuvi, so to speak. That means it's a mitzvah that you should eat when there's light. There's light. This is a chaylik, a mitzvah chiyuvi. The Naire which is Shlo Yikush V'Eitz V'Even, which is Kvod Shabbos in all other rooms. That's a mitzvah, so to speak, shlili, that you shouldn't trip. You tzint licht only because of a reason you shouldn't trip. Therefore, if there is light, the light is working in the room, or if when you open the door in the hallway there's light, so automatically you're not going to trip, and you can choiv to light candles. And that's why answers all you which thinking, why I never saw my parents tzint licht in all the bedrooms. We're using it. Why didn't I see the Shetzin? The answer is, over there is only Shlo Yikush V'Eitz V'Even. There's only a thing you shouldn't trip. Now, once you take away, you shouldn't trip because you have light, or you could have light coming out from outside, or the Levon is shining in. Anything which makes that there's some light and you're not going to trip, that's enough. When it comes up with the Achila on the table, this is a mitzvah chiyuvi, you have to eat b'mukem alecht. And therefore, steht in Shulchan Aruch, the Alter Rebbe brings it up also, that summer used to make early Shabbos, in Gur early, before it was even Gur early. They used to eat outside, and used to light candles inside, and then go outside, eat the Shabbos Eaters, you have to eat by the candles. So this is the two Nekidus. The Shlo Yikush is Inyan fin Kvod Shabbos, and that's only that you shouldn't trip, and if you have the option not to drip, that's not a problem. Then you have the Nekida of Oinig Shabbos, which is you have the choiv. Now, the choiv, what I just said, is a choiv on every yid. Every yid, when he turns 13, and a girl when he turns 12, be'etzem hat a choiv tzitzin lech. It's a choiv is gavra, and every person, Chazal haben weggestellt, choiv is gavra, everybody has to tzint lech. Mitzad Oinig Shabbos, because Mitzad Oinig Shabbos, Mitzad beide Chiven beizem, aber choiv auf jedem einer. So the question begs, why don't all the Bochurim tzint lecht? Why don't all the girls, akapunem liftnai, the Rebbe angefiert, why wasn't the minig that till the Chasen you tzint lecht? And the answer is, because when the parents are tzint lecht, automatically, all the children are b'nai baisoy, part of the b'nai bais, and once the b'nai bais tzins, he's nichlel. It's like a zovin hilchas Chanukah. Be'etzem, as once the balabos gets in them, that's enough. So anybody who is a chaylik from b'nai bais, that's fine. It's not. It goes even further. That if a person eats by a family on Shabbos, person eats by a family on Shabbos, yeah, a bocher goes to guest for a place, or even a Ingaman in that case, goes to someone eat on Shabbos. Even if he eats one Shabbos, mitzad Alter Rebbe, darf schon nicht sin. It is a chaylik from Rabbi. Since he eats the seed over there, it's a chaylik part from Rabbi. The Mishabiri is nicht maskem. He holds has to be kvias. Some other chroim halt noch, there has to be a kvias. He eats over there every Shabbos. Aber according to the Alter Rebbe, and also is in this kabel we're going to see soon, also is this kabel geworden by the Welt, is once you eat of guest, you have to see, because you are part of B'nai Bais. Now let's go a step further. Who is the chiyuv And who's the chief to light candles? Now the chief to light candles, as we just said, on the Bnai Balabais. Who is the Balabais in the house? The husband or the wife? Oh, you can dance on. You ask the women or you ask the husband. But who is the Balabais in the house? The Balabais is the husband. So therefore, the husband should send licht, and basically the lady doesn't have to, the wife doesn't have to, she's part of the Bnei Bais, ishtige gif, whatever. Zung Chazal, although Taki the mitzvah belongs to the husband, in Alter Rebbe Zuk dus Klur, belongs basically to the husband, Afa Piken, hat man es weggestellt. So the Alter Rebbe, also, Echet Anushim, Ve'echet Anushim, Chayum Elis Bebetayim, Ner Durg Bebais, the Chiv is basically on both. Why did they give it for the ladies? Ele Shanoshim Mezurim Bayoysen, Mitne Shemetzim Bevaisam, Ve'oiskim Metzorech Habais. Why ladies? Because usually when it comes Erev Shabbos, who is at home? Who is ready to sin? The wife. The husband is still busy coming back from the field. Or maybe he went already to shul. One reason, as the reason of the Rambam, Void mitne shehi kofs an Irish Aloilam. She extinguished the light in Irish Aloilam. She made that Chava Udam should pass away. She misal Aloilam. So she has to be masakenit. She has to be masakenit, and therefore she hat man gegeben the mitzvah. Bechem is the husband's mitzvah, but we gave it for the wife. And with the ishteke gifoy, so it's sekili the husband hat getzin. Now what will be the husband goes to the oil of Shabbos and the wife stays at home. Now who is now the balabais? Who's now the balabais? He is not at home now. Now she's the balabais because she's at home. Now if she's a balabais and she's at home, how does he get nifted with her sending? Now when he is at home and she lights and she went to Kinnes Ashlichois and she doesn't light, she doesn't have to light mitzad adin. Why? Because the husband sent lecht and she's a chaylik from Bnei Bais. But her husband does not get chaylik of Bnei Bais from the wife. So if the wife is at home and the husband went to Kinnes Ashlicham or Kinnes Ashlich or to the Moel, how does he get nifter? So the Alter Rebbe liked sie a wort. Ishtoi madlekes ulef beweise. There's a locha as ishtoi madlekes ulef beweise. That means since his wife sins licht at home, and the Alter Rebbe liked sie in Segrayim, which the Achroinim have a lot of issue with it, but the Alter Rebbe sucht this. And the Alter Rebbe says, ishtoi madlekes ulef beweise mishaloi. Mishaloi, that means it has to be his lecht. Therefore, she's yoitza. The Achronim doesn't say Mishaloi. The Alter Rebbe likes to see Mishaloi. Now, Rabbi Yankel Bloy, from the Eidach Reides, he has a sefer on the night of Shabbos. Emet is sehr stark with the Alter Rebbe. Why did the Alter Rebbe say Mishaloi? And he has a whole cheshm, a cheshmishpedig cheshm, which is the Shnegaya. He goes in cheshmish why the Alter Rebbe wants Mishaloi. Lani is dati, if you're oimad of the Yisodei Dvurim, with the Alter Rebbe explained the ganze night of Shabbos, with the Kindras Achnans, the Alter Rebbe saw this einzach. The chiyuv is on the husband. The wife, because he is the balabais. The wife wird nifter through the husband, because she's a part of the bnei bais. The children are nifter, bnei bais. When the husband at home and he sins, even the wife is the kinnes ashlichas, she doesn't have to sin. I can put him out mikra adin rep medach. We're not the minik, mit bal in the minik. Mikra adin, she doesn't have to sin. When the husband is not home, he's bakinas ashlichem, and the wife is at home, ishta madleges ul beweise. Is du aluchas, the madleges ul beweise. Zukt aber the Alter Rebbe has to be mishaloi. Because, how does it work? Oib sie hat achoyev the bnei bayis, and she is now the bnei bayis, and the husband is not needful to the wife. How does her sending, when she lights the candles, how does the husband get nifter? How does it work? How does such a thing work? When the husband is home and the wife is out of town, it works. Because she's a bnei bayis, the same as the children. Sie wird nitful to the husband. A husband does not need to love the wife. And if the chiyuv is now her chiyuv because she's the balabayis, balas habayis, how does he get nifter? So the Alter Rebbe has to be mishaloi. The candle has to be the husband's. So then, what is the nikida? Then is mishtatzes beprita. There's a loch shichanurach that if a person, as I mentioned before, let me step back a minute. We mentioned before, there's a chiyuv of everybody that's in the licht. It's either you get nifter because you eat by someone, and automatically you're part of B'nai B'ais, or if you have a separate room, you sinned over there in that room, or if you don't have a separate room, and you eat by somebody else, but you pay for that meal. You're not part of the B'nai B'ais. It could happen in a Bochem in Yeshiva, for instance. Yeah, they're going out of town, they're going to Israel, and they eat in a restaurant. And Israel is, I don't know what today's day, but when my time it was a normal thing that you paid before Shabbos, and the restaurant was open. The Bochem used to eat over there, and you paid for the meal. So over here, if there's candles over there, it has nothing to do with you. When you eat by family, you are part of an Abayis. But if you pay for your meal, so you're not Balabais. So how, hast du gezinnen lecht, bist du Balabais, and you don't have a Chaydim Yichid, which is dark. So how do you use your Choyves Gavra, was the Chazal Amarov gestalt, that every person has to have a Choyves Tinned lecht. Shtayt Shichanurach, there's a third option. The Choyves Gavra you take off by giving a penny, a prita to the balabas, and you tell for the balabas, I want to be koin a part of your lech. Or in Cheschanik is also zelbalocha. So therefore, once you give a part of it, ich bin a heilig von der lech. So automatically, when you light candles, since the family, ich bin a heilig davon. That's called mishtatev b'prita. So that's a way again, when you're not a b'nai bais, because you pay for your food, and you are not, you don't have a separate room. Because if you have a separate room which you use, you have to sin over there with a bracha. So how do you choyves gavri take away? That's by mishtatev b'prita. So the Alter Rebbe, now we have a husband, when shtekin is a shlicham. Yeah? So now he doesn't have a separate room. If he has a separate room, he has to light in that room. There's no question about it. He doesn't have a separate room. Again, a separate room which is dark, because he has light or it comes out from. But if it doesn't have a separate room, or the room is used by other people, it doesn't have a separate room. Yeah? So therefore, he cannot light over there. Madlik rula babaisoi. Why? The husband, the wife, he's not a part of the he's not a balabos, he's not the balabos now, and he's not part of B'nai Bais. So the Alter Rebbe, it goes with the Shtatev B'prita. Therefore, you have to give the lecht which the wife sins has to be your husband's, which basically when she's at home, it's a normal thing. It's automatically, the lecht, everything at home belongs to the husband. So it's not relevant. You know where it's relevant? Because the husband went to Kinnis Shlicham, and the wife decided, I want to go to my mother for Shabbos, taking the children, going to the mother. So now, she's lighting candles by her mother's house. So how does the husband get nifter? How does it work? And he doesn't get nifter. And therefore, I keep on saying for the Ingalat, if your wife is going to your mother or to your other in-laws, she should take licht from her house, or she should ask her parents, should the licht which she are going to tin, sie soll es maknazan, as for the husband, maknazan for the husband. So now is madlik mishaloi, is Shtatev B'prita. But people don't realize. So usually when she stays home, it's not relevant. But sometimes when he goes against the shlicham, the wife picks himself up and goes also away. I'm not going to stay home at home alone with the children without. So they go away. So there you have to ask that the candles which I am lighting over there should be yours. Dus the Alter Rebbe is achid shochet. Aber fine. So I'm clear in the nikida. So how many is the clue nochmal on nikida? So choyves gavra on everybody to tzint licht. That's everybody. It is only how you take off the choyves gavra. It's either by lighting on the table, either by lighting in your room when it's dark, either you are part of a B'nai Bayis. That means when you eat someone else, that's also a part of B'nai Bayis. So therefore, Bokharim which eat out by our families don't have to sin because they're part of B'nai Bayis automatically. And if you don't have all these three, you have to be shtatev b'prita. You have to give a prita, and that takes off the choves gavra. That solves all the problems. Okay, so this is the yisod is to begin with of Naira Shabbos. Now, let's go a step further. So now, how does when the wife sins, again, what did you mention? Alter Rebbe writes, a whole Kinter Sachner explains it, Kinter Sachner Sif Kuten Hai, as the wife sinned b'shlichus from the Baal. So every time, basically the mitzvah is his. Every time when she lights the candles, she is a shliach from the husband. That's the Yisod which Madam gedenken. Okay, so now, let's go a step further. We just mentioned, according to the Alter Rebbe, if a person eats by someone else, it's part of Benai Bais. So you get nifter. Yeah? Get nifter. That's why most of the Bikורem do not light candles. Because, or they eat by someone. Taki in yeshiva, they have to have 2 candles. I don't know if Ms. Makbat, but yeshiva has to be by Siddur Shabbos 2 candles. Because choivas, we have to eat the Siddur Shabbos with 2 candles. Fine. Now, the question goes like that. You have children. The Rebbe angefiert that all the children from 3 or even less, if they can make a bracha, if they're clean, should light candles b'brucha. Now the question is, how could you light candles b'brucha? How could you light candles b'brucha? The child, is a part of the Benai Bais. She is nifter geworden. You cannot just decide, I want to make a bracha. The Alter Rebbe is machmer of so viel bruchas more than other poiskim. If you learn Hilchas bruchas, you realize the Alter Rebbe of anything, so viel bruchas, local don't make a bracha. More than the Mishnah, more than the Chaim, more than the Kitsch Chanurach. The Alter Rebbe is more than machmer of so viel bruchas. So how could we make a bracha when a child lights candles? And there was a lot of poiskim b'zmanu when the Rebbe came out in the Lamed Gimels, which were vividly against it. Because of this reason. Wie kann man machen? How could it be? Wie arbeitet? How could you make a bracha? Es ist nicht mechiev. Es wird ein Chalik von dem Nabei. Es ist nicht mechiev. How could you make a bracha? Be'emes is a good question. But the same question goes, every young couple which goes to their parents of Shabbos, how could they make a bracha? Every young couple, even the Svardische, which Rav Avadia was against, children should light with the bracha because of his brachas, because bracha levatula. Wait a minute. The Svardische, when they go to their in-laws or to their parents, they don't make a bracha. The wife doesn't sin. She doesn't sin with a bracha. So the same question which you have on a child, you have on an adult. Same question you have. Now you could say, according to the Mishnah, you have to eat constantly. If not, you're not part of an ayabais. Okay, this is Ein Mahalach. But not necessarily most of Achronim go with that. Most of Achronim is if you eat Shabbos over there by a family, even some poskim wants to say that even if you only eat Friday night, in Pashtus is Azul the Alter Rebbe. When the choiv is to sin left Friday night, if you sin left Friday night, you eat over there, you're So how could all the young couples, it came out against Chabad, against the Rebbe Shita, because of Bruchel Levatula. In all the Ingelatlach which go to their parents in Sindlicht, what do you do then? So what good. Two questions doesn't make an answer. What is the reason? What is Taki the answer? The answer is there's a child Shiva Shem Arya, famous Shem Arya. The Rebbe brings it down also in the letters. Old Shem Arya, not before the Krieg. And he writes in Simon Tezvuf is Mechadash. It makes a lot of sense. It says, since everybody has a choiv, it's in licht, it's a choiv is gavra on each individual, a person has the right to be sich mesalek. Ich will nicht an a chaylik for the Benai Bais. Ich will nicht be yoitza. My mother, when she sins licht, I'm part of it. I want to be mesalek myself. Ich will nicht yoitza zan. So what does that mean? That means when a young couple comes to their parents and they want it in licht, because that's the meaning is rule, the B'chu Shuruv, the Aishla Avruam, which was probably you heard, B'chu Shuruv was a Talmud of the Kedishas Laivi. was a Chassidish, started from early Chassidish Yidden. He writes, as Kibli Alayim, Nushim Tzidkun, as Kibli Alayim mitzvahs Nayar Shabbos, and they're going to make all the efforts to make it light and to your bracha. So therefore he wants to say, so you can bracha levatul as Kim Tzidnayar Shabbos, because, don't fight with them. Al Kaponam, zoekt of them the Shamaria, there's such a thing as silik. Ich will sich masalig sein. That means when you light, ich bin a heilig devin. So in andere Worte, dan Licht is sich meshachas to me. Ich bin so masalig. I don't want any yoitza. Hepach kavuna. Like when Alter Rebbe writes in Hilchas Tuf Paites, in Hilchas Paisach, Alter Rebbe says, when people don't realize, Alter Rebbe writes that when you make a bracha loud on Sfiras Oimer, you have to have hepach kavuna. I don't want to be yoitza. Because if you didn't have kavuna, hepach kavuna, you automatically yoitza. Because since it's mitzvah einzlichs kavuna by the Rabbonan, Sfiras Oimer is the Rabbonan, so by hearing a bracha, automatically, is man help me yoitza gewein. So it's not hepach kavuna. So the Alter Rebbe bringt up a Rashba, and therefore, it's again alte Chassidim, Anash, wo is amish gemach kam brucha hoich, berchas en hanem hoich, because they were afraid that maybe you be yoitza, brucha levatula. So there's such a thing is, ich kann sich masalig sein. I don't want to be yoitza. Hepach kavuna helft. So the Shemaria, a person has a right to say, I don't want to be yoitza, my mother's licht. The same reason goes also with the children. Although when the mother sins, they are all a part of the licht, automatically, the meidele, the kleine meidele is masalik, or even the mother, hot zin, as my licht is not connected to her. My licht can't sit in, small children is a little bit hard, because who's the choy vatzi? Once chinnach do a mitzvah chinnach. Oder beim Bas Mitzvah versteht man nicht. Aber they have kindness even for Bas Mitzvah. They have kindness even for Mitzvah Chinnach. Aber Kapon, I'm still saying silik. Was ich masalig, I don't want to be part of it. So, was kommt raus von dem? As when the children are lighting, haben sich masalig mit der Mamas, es haben sich gescheicht mit der Mamas Sinn. Das ist eine extra Sache. Also kommt raus. Ich meine, Bruder, does the way the head to be a masbet zu sein, that we have a right. The children should sin and make a bracha, and that's the right how couples could come to their parents' house and make a bracha. Silik. Let's get of silik. So now, let's go back a minute to our Shaila. What was the Shaila Bayos? Shaila Bayos was, you had a girl, two girls, which light candles. Everybody, each of them lighted one candle. They made a bracha. How did they make a bracha? What reason? Silik. So haben sich masalig mit der Mamas. Ich hab nicht mit Mama, nicht mit mir, das hat nicht gescheiches. So now you have two candles. So now the mother, when she forgot that sin licht, hat sie gezin licht, bechlal even one licht, that gut nicht gezin. She didn't sin. Even if she helped the small door to zin licht, sie hat nicht gezinden, sie hat gezinden mit der Meidl. In Kavune du, als ich kann nicht gescheichs mit der Kindslicht, ich bin nicht schuld mit der Kindslicht, Kind ist schon mit dem Licht. So basically, Bepoel, when you come to this Nekida of Silik, which you have to come to that, when a child sins licht, automatically is the mama in the Shkumachteniste. She might help, she might do, but sie hat nicht gezinden kein Licht. So kimt us when now is she forgot to tzin licht is he shukha to tzin any licht. There's no licht but she light nothing. It's not even the Mishnah Berurah which Mishnah said if she lights 10 candles and now she lit it only 9, you could be mavater. She didn't tzin even one. The two daughters tzin licht. The mother didn't tzin licht. So was beschad the finas man darf nicht moise sein. Afat darf man moise sein. So one of the shlichim which was arguing with you wants to say that the Eitzim Zach, that there are on the table 2 candles which was lit for Lukuvit Shabbos. So that's enough. That's enough. But that's not true. Because, according to this, according to this comes if a couple goes to a hotel, and you have over there 200 women which light candles, and she forgot to light candles. So there's a big dining room, and over here you have, 200 ladies which sinned, 400 licht, minus 2, because she forgot. So now, you have 398 left. She forgot. She goes to the Rav and she asks, I forgot the Zindlicht. I was in a hotel, there was Licht for Shabbos. Is there ein Poisig with the Paskin she doesn't have to add on? Aber darf sie Moisés sein. Sie hat vergessen, es ist in Licht. Sie hat sich in Mitzvah. Jene Frau hat Licht. Sie hat mir keinen in der Mitzvah. Sie nicht nur so missing as because there is on the table later Shabbos, automatically bin ich am Achitten dort. And der Varaya für dich Emmas, because Oirech, which is, doesn't, as I mentioned before, he pays for his Shabbos meal. He's not a part of B'nai Bayis. He goes to a restaurant. A bocher eats in yeshiva, and he's in yeshiva and he goes to a restaurant to eat. He paid for his food. Yeah, and over there's neither Shabbos because other bocher sinned, but he forgot to sin. Wo ist damals da Lucha? As the Zung heißt Kili hat gesinnt, aber hat nicht gesinnt. Just because there is two lech which was sin, and it was little Kuva Shabbos, there must be still Chamachitten. Schon sag mir sag. Noch mehr, according to the Poskim, which say that you could be Yoitza night of Shabbos with light. So do as a Poskim which want to say, so I go to Machlokes in the Achroines Banayni, if we name Tesuni, if you can make a bracha. La Lucha La Maisa, we pass can only B'mukamat Chag, you could make a bracha on what is it called? Incandescent. Incandescent. Only on that one, because that's mamash aish. On fluorescent light or on LED, you don't make a brach. But hakapunim, let's assume even though according to the point which say you can make a brach on electric. What is a person put on the lector, the light for Shabbos? Good Shabbos, yeah. But he forgot to light candles. What is them as the loch? Does she have to be moist or not? You could say there's light, and it's light for Shabbos. Steht in Shaivet Alayvi and in noch andere Poiskam in such a case, which say clearly, avad darf sie moist sein. Afilo noch korrekt mich zu berieren. Because of I put on the light for Shabbos, but ein Kavenusi adus an of the Choif von Zimmeln Licht, was ich gesagt habe, weggestellt. So, wie bald als ich nicht gehabt, Kavanusa, als er mir sagt, is even though I put on the light of Kuvit Shabbos, or my husband put on the Kuvit Shabbos, and we have over here light which was put on the Kuvit Shabbos, since I forgot to sin the Lech, the Tekunas Chazal, was mir weggestellt, is sin on the table, zwei Lech, so ich again, steht in Scheivet Alayvi, steht in Kinye Teure, Malamad Lehoyel, ab wel mit Poskim, you have to add on. So what do we see from this? That days that you eat on a place which there are candles which was lit the Kuvit Shabbos, although it was lit the Kuvit Shabbos the Choladayas, but Dios is nicht gezinnt, and it's not your Licht, has no connection with you, means that you forgot the Zind Licht and you have to be moisef. So now when you have two girls which sinned, it's your girls, but the whole way how can they get in is being silic. So even though the Zugnas Sidudu of the Tish 2 Lecht, which is basically lit Lekuvit Shabbos, this lady did not send Lekuvit Shabbos. She forgot to send Lecht. I don't see any other cheshbon. This is the Nikidis Advuram was Medav Gedenk. So let me just sum it up. Sum it up is, ich will übergehen nochmal just the Nikida, and Medav Gedenk Azoi. The Choiv of Naira Shabbos is on everybody. There's 3 ways how you take off this choiv. And it's a choiv is gavra. It's a choiv is gavra. That means even a person doesn't have a house. It's a choiv is gavra. Every yid has to have a connection to light night Shabbos. There's 3 ways how you get rid of it, so to speak. You makayim the mitzvah, or by kimiv you light the candles, or you are part of a b'nai bayis. That means your parents lit the candles. So therefore, basically. We can say a Bucher, which is in Yeshiva, Sof Kalsof, heißt auch et Kili, wird nifter von der, auch der Machlokes Achroinem, Tres Machroinem, which want to say, they have a whole shaila, if me wird puter or nicht. Aber kapunem, bepashtas, you could say, you are part of my bias, it's nifter. Or you have a room, chayder meyichet, and therefore you light candles taka. which you light candles, which a person, let's say, goes to the oil, he goes to the oil for a Shabbos and has a private room. He has one of the houses, which, he was smart and he bought when it was still cheap, has a private house. Although his wife sins licht over there in his house, he has to sin over here again. And the third is, if she doesn't have a private room, and there is light already on the table, then you have to give b'shtatev b'prita. You have to give b'shtatev b'prita. You have to have to have a heilig in the licht. The second thing which we mentioned is, the Alter Rebbe holds that if the wife is at home and the husband goes away, then in order he should be yoytze his chiyuv, the wife has to sin from his lecht. He has to have a kinyan in the lecht. Or if she's at home, it's automatically his licht. Or if she goes away, she has to ask her parents, should be mezake the lecht for her. And I say usually for women, take 2 lecht from your house, take it on because you have to go to your father and be explained, give me, I want to be koine for your husband. It's a little complicated. Take 2 licht from your house, take it automatically. It's mishaloi. Alter Rebbe says mishaloi. That's the second. That's number 2. Number 3, which we have to remember, is that how do children sin licht, or how do a couple, when it goes to the parents, sin licht? It is because siluk. The husband and the wife and the child is a masalik. I don't want to be a heilig over the mother's lecht. So automatically, she was to be a heilig lecht. Hat sie nicht joitze gewähnt, weil sie hat dem now a choyves gavra. So automatically, she could sin bebrucha. It's not a problem. So therefore, you have to remember, if you're going to forget in such a case, then you'll have to be moisef. Final, the halacha is again, this is a wichtig halacha, if you forget, which again, this is a shala which macht sich. People, some ladies, nushim tzitkunis, who work hard all week, and they take a small nap before Shabbos, and sie kann sich machen amul, as ich hab sich auf, if the husband is not home, sie macht sich amul as a shala, she forgot to light candles. So the halacha is that basically, you could tell, if it's by nashmoshes, you could tell for the goy, do me a favor, sin the licht, 1 licht, the goy could do if it's by nashmoshes, and the lady could make a bracha. It's a chiddush of the Alter Rebbe, with andere achronim sind nicht maskem, aber der Alter Rebbe liked sie kann machen a bracha. A ganze cheshm with the Alter Rebbe, I could rasachna why she could make a bracha. And if she remembers by nashmoshes she didn't sin. And the final halacha is a person which has a minute to sin 10 licht, and by mistake she only put on 9 licht, is according to the according to the Chaim, the Elyarabba, and other poskim, you have to add on. According to the Mishbiri, you have to add on. So when it comes to shlichim or the mikaruvam, it could be Michael, comes to a person himself, is the minig steigt nachroin the minig lahachmir. At least if one doesn't want to be machman and put on an extra licht, he should start sinning 4-hour licht. He should put on from now on a 5-hour. At least 1 licht should be a 5-hour licht. As the moisel gewesen, because the Mishbiri brings down b'shem eine von the friedige achroinim that actually from the Elyarabba that a urman, if there's a kuna, you have to be moisel. But when sometimes you have a uni, which candles cost money. Today's day candles is alles is easy. But amul gitzat a lechte gewintai. Shtay the Elyarabba in such a case, she should add on a little bit of oil or a bigger candle. So that's also enough. Mamayle du sie das. Es do noch gewisse haluches was again, es do noch a sach chedish und Alter Rebbe hat gestellt. But that will be for now. And therefore, lani is that in such a case that the mother forgot to sin, even door sin is mechiv to sin the licht. And the Reibish is helfen, as ich steigt in Chazal, as Chazal sagen, as imate madlik im Neiris Shabbos, ani madlik Neiris shel Zion. The Reibish wird machen, es gibt aus Neiris Shabbos hat extra Sachen, das ist a heilig für bringen die Geille, also wie man sagt die Chazal. I think Melanie is that he is one of the reasons the Rebbe Tzchadik gekocht auch the Neiris Shabbos is even a preparation of the Gila Mitzvah Shleimas. The Rebbe said the reasons because when a child sins licht, automatically the mother would sin licht and changes the whole environment of the house. And the Rebbe brought even a story famous story which the Rebbe brought, how it changed the whole environment. Aber Akapur noch eine Kide, als es bringt die Geile. Es ist eine Mitzvah Chavive an Anushim Zitkunias. Und bei Eibische Helfen, als es Chis für Neire Shabbos, und man sagt, so ich gesagt, sie Neire Ziehen, beim Heide wie meine Mamisch.